Christine, how much does it hurt the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is out?
It is devastating to the WNBA.
I know a lot of us were expecting some sort of dip since Caitlin Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said, one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion.
The WNBA is facing growing financial pressure, and many believe the league cannot maintain its current momentum without Caitlin Clark on the court. Once again, critics argue that the league has failed to properly protect the player who helped bring unprecedented attention, record viewership, and new fans to the sport. This is the story of a league struggling through one of its biggest challenges while its brightest star remains sidelined, and how every passing day continues to fuel questions about the costly decisions being made behind the scenes.
And the truth is the truth, and the data is there. And what we saw when Caitlin was out the last time, the 5 games that she missed earlier in the season, the WNBA's viewership dropped more than 50%. Not just the Fever, but the entire league.
In today's world of nonstop headlines and social media controversy, separating facts from speculation has become increasingly difficult. When Caitlin Clark was sidelined on June 24th with a quad injury, the WNBA's heavy reliance on one superstar became impossible to ignore. Now the league is facing a similar situation once again, as Clark remains out with a groin injury for an unknown period, raising fresh questions about how much her absence impacts the sport.
Injury jumped to her groin likely because of compensation. But the thing that you have to be careful of is if, say, you try to rush her back from this injury as well, then you're getting into this territory where a very serious injury can happen. That is what the Indiana Fever, that is what Caitlin need to avoid the best that they possibly can. So if it means that Caitlin is out for 3 weeks, if it means that she is out all the way through All-Star, then so.
Nationally televised WNBA viewership reportedly fell by around 55%, dropping from an average of roughly 1.81 million viewers when Caitlin Clark played to about 847,000 without her. Indiana Fever broadcasts also experienced a significant decline, with viewership falling by nearly 53%. Those numbers only intensify the conversation, creating even more pressure on a league that many critics believe has been unwilling to acknowledge the impact of its biggest star or address the growing concerns surrounding her absence.
Clark went down. The WNBA ratings have dropped over 55%. Across the board.
Hey, guess what, guys?
League is Caitlin Clark.
The league is Caitlin Clark. She is the WNBA, guys.
Sidelined with a left quad strain May 24th, national TV viewership has plunged since then 55%. Before the injury, the Fever, her team, were averaging 1.81 million viewers, almost 2 million. Since her injury, fewer than 850.
While Caitlin Clark continued doing what she does best, selling out arenas, breaking television rating records, and helping generate unprecedented revenue, the WNBA faced growing criticism for not doing enough to protect its biggest star. Many fans questioned how a player believed to have such a massive impact on the league's popularity could continue taking heavy contact without stronger intervention. What makes the situation even more frustrating for critics is that they believe this isn't a new problem. The league has faced similar concerns before, with injuries to star players affecting both viewership and overall interest. To many observers, it feels like watching the same mistake happen over and over again, while the lessons from the past continue to go unlearned.
News is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA. At the end of this season, the WNBA will go into CBA negotiations. If negotiations go well, then every single player in the WNBA has a much better chance of making so much more in their next contract. And that's one thing when you start thinking about how many people stopped watching when Caitlin Clark got injured. A lot of people stopped watching because they are boycotting the WNBA. They don't want to give viewership to any other teams or any other players, whether they like other players on the team or not, because of how the media and the league itself has handled Caitlin Clark and how they have treated
If you're enjoying this breakdown, be sure to subscribe for more. The financial impact was felt almost immediately. Ticket prices for Indiana Fever games dropped dramatically, with some seats falling from around $860 to nearly $250. Across the games Clark has missed, average ticket prices reportedly plunged from about $1,370 to just $80, highlighting just how much demand she generates for the league. Several road games that had been moved to larger arenas because of Clark's popularity suddenly struggled to fill those extra seats once she was unavailable. Even the highly anticipated Los Angeles Sparks Fever rematch saw ticket prices fall from roughly $210 to under $100. The original matchup attracted around 2.25 million viewers, making it one of the most-watched WNBA games in recent history. Without Clark on the floor, however, many casual fans viewed it as just another regular season game.
Really concerning about this is the fact that we are only a month into the regular season and Caitlin Clark has already been out with 2 injuries. With the first one being her having to miss some time with a left quad strain. Now, of course, this is concerning because if you're already on your second injury, you don't want to be that player that is always hurt. Cough, cough, Embiid, cough, cough, Anthony Davis. So I really do hope that the Fever really sits her out right now for a while, only because you don't want her to have more long-term injuries and be more.
Veteran sports journalist Christine Brennan has become one of the strongest critics of how the WNBA has handled its biggest star. Her upcoming book, On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports, is expected to examine Clark's impact on the game and the challenges surrounding the league. Following another physical game involving Clark, Brennan argued that the WNBA was failing to meet the moment, saying that with record numbers of people watching, this is what new fans are seeing. Her criticism is straightforward. She believes Clark has been the league's biggest driver of television audiences, yet continues to absorb heavy contact and hard fouls that many fans feel are not addressed consistently. To Brennan, it is like allowing the person who attracts the biggest crowd to face constant unnecessary obstacles instead of protecting what brings people through the door.
Man, congratulations to the WNBA. Your ratings are going to drop by 55 to 60% once again. I believe the WNBA have successfully broken.
A growing number of fans believe this has become a frustrating pattern. Clark frequently faces defenders who appear more focused on playing physically than simply defending her. Several of the league's most talked about fouls against Clark have come during games against the Phoenix Mercury, adding even more fuel to the debate. When Clark pushes back, some critics say she's too confrontational. When she stays quiet, others claim she's too passive. It has created a no-win situation that many believe the league has failed to address. Meanwhile, the financial impact continues to be a major concern. The WNBA was already projected to operate at a significant loss this season, and many analysts argue that Clark's absence only makes those challenges more noticeable. Attendance has cooled, television audiences have declined, and merchandise sales have slowed, leading many to question how much of the league's recent momentum depends on its biggest star.
As big a deal as Tiger was in men's golf, Keith, he did, and when he was gone, it affected the ratings, but nothing like that. And, Michael Jordan being out, maybe a 5 percentage points or something. Nothing like this. You can make a strong case, and I will make that case, and have that there is no one single athlete more important to his or her sport or tour, or whatever the circuit is that they play on, than Caitlin Clark is to the WNBA.
The most frustrating part of this entire situation is that many people believe it could have been avoided. When Clark entered the league, she carried herself with humility, consistently giving credit to her teammates and avoiding the spotlight whenever possible. Despite the intense attention surrounding her, she handled criticism with impressive maturity for such a young player. The WNBA had an opportunity to fully embrace its biggest new star, protect her, and use her popularity to help grow the game. Instead, critics argue that unnecessary controversy and internal politics have overshadowed what should have been a celebration of women's basketball. The impact extends far beyond ticket sales and television ratings. Major corporate sponsors invested millions as the league's popularity surged, but Clark's absence has caused many to question how sustainable that growth really is. For many observers, the situation highlights a larger issue with the WNBA's public image. The league wants to be viewed as a premier professional sports organization, yet it continues to find itself at the center of headline-grabbing controversies. Successful professional leagues protect their biggest stars while preserving competitive integrity. When controversy begins to overshadow the sport itself, everyone involved ultimately pays the price.
I don't even know where to begin, man. I hope Caitlin Clark is okay. I want to know when this injury even happened, bro, because let's be serious here. She has the quad injury. Mind you, Caitlin Clark hadn't missed a game since she was like 19 years old, since she was like 18 in college or something. Now she has a groin injury. We've never seen Caitlin Clark play as bad as she played the last 3 games. Let's just be serious here. She's like 1 for 20-something on threes in the last 3. We've never seen her shoot the ball this way. I'll say that. Has she been hurt in play?
Women's basketball deserves the same standard as every other professional sport, yet many critics believe the WNBA has fallen short. They often point to other leagues and ask what would happen if a superstar like LeBron James were repeatedly subjected to questionable physical plays without meaningful consequences. In the NBA, many believe the league would respond quickly with reviews, fines, or suspensions to protect both the player and the integrity of the game. Critics argue that the WNBA has not shown that same urgency. As a result, some fans have become frustrated, saying they are losing confidence in the product because they feel the games are not being officiated consistently. When supporters begin saying they no longer want to watch games involving the league's biggest star because they question how the games are being called, it becomes a credibility issue that reaches far beyond television ratings or revenue.
I admire about Caitlin, she's a warrior. She's tough. You hear me? Bruh, you just don't see players, you don't see female basketball players like her. I'm sorry. I done seen a lot of female basketball players, like I said.
As I mentioned earlier, many critics believe the WNBA has had multiple chances to change course, but has repeatedly failed to do so, allowing the controversy to grow with every new incident. They argue that each physical play involving Clark should have prompted the league to strengthen its approach to player safety and consistent officiating. Instead, the response is often centered on familiar explanations about basketball being a physical game and allowing players to compete. Ironically, Clark's absence has become the strongest reminder of just how valuable she is to the league. The reported 55% drop in viewership has only intensified that discussion. Even so, many fans feel the league still hasn't learned from the situation. Officials continue emphasizing competitive balance and physical play, while critics argue that dangerous contact against Clark has too often been dismissed instead of being addressed more firmly.
Clean up. I believe the physicality and all this hacking and fouling that goes on. She getting blindsided by Marina Mabry. I think all of this stuff is having a wear and tear and an impact. And all you guys are doing are hurting yourselves. Because the numbers are going to drop and drop and drop. And trust me, when it's time for that collective bargaining agreement, they are going to point to this and say, well, how can we give you guys all this money? What happens if she gets...
The WNBA now faces some important decisions about the direction it wants to take. Many believe the solution is not especially complicated. If the league wants to be viewed as a premier professional basketball organization, it must continue strengthening its standards for player safety and apply those rules consistently. The focus should remain on the basketball itself rather than allowing off-court controversy to dominate the conversation. Critics also argue that the league has a responsibility to protect its biggest stars, especially the players who attract large crowds and drive television audiences. Clark's absence has reignited concerns about attendance and viewership, with many pointing to lower television numbers and reduced fan interest during the games she has missed. To them, those figures are a reminder of how much impact one player can have and why the league's future depends on creating an environment where its biggest talents can thrive.
The way they play the game, because I love the WNBA, I love the way they play the game. But we really watch it because Caitlin Clark and everybody watching. Now listen, if I keep bumping her, knocking her down, might get her a concussion, you might hurt her for real. For 2 weeks, she was done with like a hamstring. She was down. 55% of the viewership was down. She comes back the next game, it's about 3 million viewers. Now, let me tell you something. Growing up in the hood, they teach you this. Always protect the money. Y'all keep hurting her and all that. She's going for a year or two. Ain't nobody gonna watch it. If nobody watches, how y'all gonna make and generate?
The most frustrating part of this entire situation is that many believe it could have been avoided. Had the WNBA done a better job of protecting and promoting its biggest star, the league might have been able to turn Clark's popularity into a lasting foundation for future growth. Instead, critics argue that the league has become too dependent on one player, making every injury or absence feel like a major setback. Until the WNBA finds a way to both protect its top talent and continue building around the growing interest they create, many fear these cycles of rapid growth followed by sharp declines will continue. The biggest question now is whether the league will learn from this moment or risk missing another opportunity to build on the momentum Clark has helped create. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and we'll see you in the next video.